Because of how expensive everything is nowadays, the cost and price of goods and services are really expensive nowadays. A lot of people are tempted to start businesses in order to generate extra income to make ends meet, and this is a good idea. But there are 3 businesses you should really avoid if you are in Nigeria, or you should think about really carefully before you go into these businesses. Hi guys, welcome to the Smiling Professor. My name is Dr. Bukola, and today we're going to discuss the 3 businesses you should really consider or try to avoid if you are in Nigeria and you don't have a lot of capital. If you want to go into business and you do not have a lot of capital, but you would like to generate extra income, you should avoid transportation business if you're not going to run it yourself. So let me explain. So a lot of people, in order to generate extra money, may decide that they want to go into the transportation business. So they either want to buy a taxi and get someone else to drive it so that they're able to generate money, maybe because they have their own job that they are doing day to day and they might not have the time to drive the taxi themselves, or maybe they just have money to buy one bus and be able to use it for transportation business. Why I said you should avoid this business in this time, this particular period, is because of the overrunning cost of the business. So as everyone knows, the price of fuel has increased dramatically in Nigeria. So it has increased from about 185 naira to 660 naira, 700 naira, depending on the filling station you're buying your fuel from. And because of this, transportation prices has increased, and because a lot of people cannot afford this, they've decided that they probably would transport themselves using alternative means. So there's a lot of videos that have been going on social media about Nigerians walking to their different locations and a lot of the roads being empty. So this is the worst time to go into transportation business, because you may not get a lot of customers, and because of this you will not be able to generate profits. Obviously, if you have a lot of money and you're able to weather the storm and wait for things to stabilize in the country, you can go into this business. But what I said in the beginning of this video, if you do not have a lot of capital and you want to see return on your investments immediately, this is not the business to go into. Another reason why I do not really like transportation business is because if you are not driving the taxi yourself or the bus yourself, you may have to depend on your driver. And as most of you may know, if you are a returning subscriber, from my own personal experience, I've not really had a good experience with transportation business. I'm going to link that video below. But from my experience, a lot of times, if you're going to go into transportation business, you have to have a driver who is honest, who is as driven as you. So not a driver who would just park your car somewhere and not actually go out to look for customers or things like that. You also have to have connection to a good mechanics. As most of you know, driving a car regularly for transportation may result to wear and tear of the car, and you may have to visit mechanics often. So you have to make sure that you have a mechanic on standby, because if you allow your driver to go to any random mechanic when anything is wrong with the car, you will keep incurring expenses. So they will come to there and say, oh, the shafts got bad, I need so amount, the plug got bad, I needed to repair this. So at the end of the day, you may not actually be making profit. So taxi business, when you do not have the systems or you do not have the mechanism to ensure that is profitable, is not a good idea. So after my taxi business failed, I did my research to understand why it failed. So I understood that the people who actually succeeded in taxi business had a lot of systems and mechanisms. So they had their own mechanics where anytime the car went bad, the drivers were only allowed to take the car to that particular mechanic. They had their own links in filling stations where they provided the fuel for the driver. They didn't have to buy the fuel from the driver. Some of them even had trackers in their cars to make sure that the driver is not taking the car and traveling on their own personal journey without the knowledge of the owner. So transportation business is not really a business that I would advise someone to go into, except you drive the car yourself. So I've spoken to a couple of my friends who are into this business, and they've told me that the way they're able to make money from the business is if they choose to drive the car themselves. So if they choose to be the one driving the Uber or the Lyft, maybe after they are done on with their regular work, and that's the way they're able to make money. So it is a business that I feel you need capital, you need time, and you also need good system to operate in the transportation business. The next business that I would try and avoid in this period is hotel. I know this is really surprising, but hotel businesses, people don't realize, have a lot of overhead costs. So think about it. If you're going to go to hotel business this period, you would have to think about reservation, registration, how the customers are going to check in, how they're going to check out, how you're going to organize your payment system, how you're going to audit the customer, how you're going to do housekeeping. There are lots of supplies. There's also the problem of electricity, making sure that there's constant electricity in the hotel. So in case there is power shortage, you have to buy fuel or diesel to make sure there's constant electricity in the hotel, and this is a lot of money. So as I said in the previous points, if you do not have a lot of capital, I don't think this is a business you should go into, because it has a lot of overhead costs and it may take a while before you start to make profit. Running a hotel business would also involve employing a couple of staff. So you need receptionists, you need cleaners, you need people who will be able to carry luggages, you need a security. I'm sure you get the point. So it involves a lot of money to be able to set up. It involves a lot of money to run the business, and for the first couple of years you'll be barely making even. If you run a hotel, please can you let me know how long it took you to make profit? Put it in the comment section below. But generally, I think this is not the right time to open a hotel business. The last business we're going to talk about today is going to be running a restaurant business with a physical location. So let me explain. So not food business. So you may be able to have an office space for your food business that is the same as where you live. So you've carved out an office within your home to run your food business. So therefore, the money you'll be paying for your rent would be similar to what you'll be paying for your office, or a fraction will go to what you pay for your office. No, what I mean here is those people who actually rent out a building just for a restaurant. I don't think this is a wise time to do this because of, as I said before, the overall running cost of a restaurant. So if you have a physical location where you actually have a sit-in dining experience, you would have to employ a lot of staffs and you have a lot of overhead costs. So you have to employ waiters, you have to buy equipment, big equipment for your kitchen, you have to employ a security, you would have to make sure you have the right furniture for the restaurant. So especially if the restaurant is going to be huge in terms of the size of the place, I don't think this is the right time to do this. Another big factor in running a restaurant in Nigeria would be the electricity, as I always said, and we've discussed the price of fuel. It has really become expensive. So you have to make sure that there is constant electricity in the place, which is going to take a lot of money. So I don't think it's the right time. And restaurant business could be very stressful and could actually incur a lot of cost. So most people, if you want to start a restaurant business, after you make sure that you have abide to all the laws of the country, you have to make sure that you don't have a lot of costs associated with opening a physical location. So if I was going to start a restaurant business in this time, I'll probably try to see if it's something that I could do becoming a food vendor. So what most people do nowadays is to get the proper license that they need and maybe create an office in their homes or create a space within their homes to actually start a business. So do it small scale first. So probably focus on delivering the food, focus on advertising the food on Instagram and delivering the food without having a sit down service, just because sit down service would incur a lot of costs. So do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Do you think that you could start these businesses in the times we're living in, because things may change? Do you have experiences running this type of businesses and have they been successful? Do you agree that this is not the right time to start this kind of businesses and this may change in the future? Please let me know down in the comment section below. If you've watched to this point of this video, I want to say thank you so much, because you're one of the few people who watched to the end of this video, and I really appreciate your support. If you're new here and you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel by clicking the red button below. If you're a returning subscriber, thank thank you so much for being here. Don't forget to click the bell so you always know when I upload. If there's any topic you want me to discuss, please let me know down in the comment section below. I would really love to hear from you. If you don't want to put the comments in the comment section below, my email address is below this video. Please let me know what kind of topics you would like for me to discuss. Thank you so much and see you next week. Bye guys.